Back home, 150,000 low-paid community sector workers are set to win pay rises of at least $7,000 each after the Gillard government announced it would back the increases at Fair Work Australia. And in Parliament tonight, the Senate's passed Labor's plain cigarette packaging legislation with amendments to the start date. When the bills finally pass both houses, the tobacco industry has promised a High Court challenge, seeking billions of dollars in compensation. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports.
The government amended its legislation to allow more time for tobacco companies to react to their plain packaging future. Assuming the House passes the legislation from December next year, plain olive green cigarette packs will replace today's branded boxes.
Every time a smoker takes a packet out of their pocket, it's a mobile ad for a particular brand.
The tobacco industry says it's unconstitutional and it'll go to the High Court if the bill's ever written into law.
We've been pushed down this path. We've been saying all along we don't want to take the government to court, but Minister Roxton's pushed us into this corner, and unfortunately that's what's going to take place.
But we're not going to be bullied into not taking this action just because tobacco companies say they might fight us in the courts.
The government's keeping its legal advice secret to avoid tipping off big tobacco about potential court strategies. Cigarette makers aren't so shy.
Taxpayers are going to be the ones that are potentially paying billions of dollars to the tobacco industry in compensation for the removal of their intellectual property.
We don't accept that argument. They're using that as a way of threatening both the government and the Senate to try not to proceed with this law.
The opposition's backed most of the government's legislation and agrees it could lower smoking rates.
We have some reservations in relation to plain packaging, but our view is give it a go. The issue that we are concerned about is intellectual property and trademarks.
The opposition didn't back one part of the bill. It's concerned there could be unintended consequences of allowing the government to effectively kill off the last bastion of cigarette branding,
which potentially has a flow-on effect throughout the whole intellectual property world.
The Prime Minister's been waiting in the wings for another announcement today.
Prime Minister of Australia, Julia Gillard.
Workers who look after the old, the homeless, the disabled and the mentally ill are likely to get a pay rise of up to 20%.
You are among the hardest working Australians.
The government's backing a union claim to Fair Work Australia on behalf of an industry where average pay is $12,000 less than average pay in the general community. The claim's based on a gender equality argument.
You are, as we can see from this crowd, mostly women, and you deserve equal pay.
The Prime Minister says the move will mean better services for everyone.
They see too much staff turnover because people simply can't afford to stay doing these jobs even when they love them. They can't get the recruits they need because people can earn more money doing less stressful work, even though they prefer to be working in this sector.
The sector's leaders are shaking the tree to see who else will back the claim.
We'd like to see the states and territories, every other government in the country, step up as well.
Julia Gillard says this is how Fair Work Australia was supposed to work, righting glaring wrongs. But the jury's still out about how the system deals with less clear-cut claims like those in the Qantas dispute. Tom Eagleton, Lateline.